Hello, welcome back to Room for TCG. My name is Joe. Drink of the day is a glass of water. For those of you who follow me over on X, you'll have already known this a couple of weeks back. But yeah, I quit my job. For the last 6 years, I've been a caretaker at a school. I believe Americans call it a custodian. I do things like pick litter, empty bins, fix toilets, change light bulbs, paint walls, just light maintenance. And the day-to-day running of the site. And I've enjoyed it there. I've enjoyed it there for most of that time. When I got back from Japan in April, I had no intention at all of leaving. It's kind of a long story. Basically, one of the guys at work was retiring, one of the guys on my team, and they were sort of dragging their heels about replacing him. But I thought, once I get back from Japan, there'll be a plan in action because he's leaving at the end of July, and we're obviously going to need someone to fill those hours. And long story short, they ended up sort of replacing him with someone on less hours, but it was still going to result in some very awkward situations at certain parts of the year where I was likely to have to pick up a ton of overtime, and I'm not interested in that. I am in a very fortunate position where I don't need more money. I was happy on just my standard wage, which isn't a lot. It's slightly above minimum wage, but not a ton. But yeah, I was happy with that. I just don't have the time to do a bunch of overtime. I'd rather put my time into things outside work. I don't want to work to live, You want to live to... you don't want to live to work, other way around. I don't want to just be working all the time, right? I want more time to be able to put into playing One Piece card game, making YouTube videos, doing other things outside of that. I basically don't really play video games anymore. Partially because I'm kind of... somewhat, I don't know, bored of them, but also just time constraints. I don't have a ton of time all the time. Between the YouTube, I judge Pokemon regionals, and full-time work, there's only so many hours in the day, right? But either way, after they were dragging the heels on that, I was like, shall I leave, shall I not? And then they called us in for a meeting, where they basically just accused us all of not doing enough work. Said there's loads of spare time, these times and nothing's getting done. It's like they just don't have a clue. They just don't have a clue. The times they named as being the times when there's loads of extra time are the busiest times of the day / week for us. So it's just clear they had absolutely no idea what they're talking about. Tried to explain it, but if you work, you'll know it's one of those meetings where they're talking at you, not to you. So long story short, later that night I just handed my notice in. Was like, I'm not dealing with this, man. I'm just not interested. I'm very, very fortunate that I don't have a ton of savings. I don't own my house, anything like that. I don't need the money immediately. I can be fine for a little bit. I'm very fortunate that YouTube pays for my rent, my food, my bills. It's, I'm very lucky to be in this position. A lot of people aren't. But yeah, with that sort of safety net, I felt comfortable enough to just be like, fuck it. I'm not hanging around while you just piss on everything. Which is a shame because our team's been brilliant for the last 5.5 years. I've been a part of that team. Before that, I was just a cleaner. I took a cleaning job during COVID because I could not find anything else after graduating uni. During COVID, what a time to be alive that was. Glad we're not there anymore, that's for sure. But yeah, where was I? Yeah, the last 5.5 years, the team's been great. Not one of our team of 3 has called in sick a single time. Not one of our team of 3 has been late. No one's been off for long-term anything other than, paid holiday. And one guy broke his foot, so he was off for a month or so. That's what it is. But yeah, we've been a really reliable team, and they just kind of pissed everyone off. But it is what it is. Life moves on, and I'm excited for the future. I've had a lot of people coming up to me at work saying, "Oh, sorry you're going." It's like, no, I'm not. I'm not sorry I'm going. I'm excited for what's possible now. Anyway, so I guess I am unintentionally doing full-time YouTube. I finish at the end of July. I finish work at the end of July. So from August 1st, I'm unemployed. I'm a bum. And yeah, I'll be doing, I guess, YouTube for at least a couple of months there, whilst I consider my options. The extra time will be appreciated. I'm going to definitely bring back the paper content. Did this a year ago when OP13 was approaching. OP17 seems like an apt time to bring it back, huh? So yeah, as we approach OP17, once we start getting reveals, I'm going to start making more paper content, similarly to what I did in the past, and similarly to what the Japanese channels, like York's channel, do now, where there's sort of a new card reveal. If it's an exciting one, I'll try putting it in a deck, and we'll try it against an existing deck. Something like that. I enjoyed those last time, and people seem to like the videos too, so that's cool. I'll also be able to record more games for videos, so the games should be of high quality. Sometimes I do have to put in a game that I'm not quite ecstatic with the result in. I think I don't put in too many games where the opponent's just completely int and throw the game. But sometimes when I get a lot of them in a row and I'm running out of time to record, I do occasionally put in a game where either I or the opponent doesn't play quite as well as I would have liked. But having, I can make a video a day easily without having to work, and I'll have just way more time to record. I should be able to record gameplay for like 5 hours a day, and in those 5 hours, if I can't find like 2 or 3 games that were good, I don't know, either I'm trolling or something's gone terribly wrong. But yeah, that's so that's exciting. The gameplay quality in the video should go up. Might bring back streaming. I did a couple of streams in the past. I'm not going to commit to that one. If you would like to see me stream again, it'll only be on YouTube. I can't be asked figuring out Twitch. I'm an old man. I'm 27. Time flies. But I have streamed on Twitch in the past. I don't know. My internet is not the best, and I feel like broadcasting to multiple different locations is probably not ideal. But anyway, so I might bring that back. Let me know if you'd like to see that, but I'm not going to commit to that because I don't know, I just prefer making the videos to streaming, personally, but we'll see anyway. The final thing that I'd like to do is, I've had an idea for a while about doing like a quiz or a game show around One Piece card game. If any of you follow competitive Pokemon, there's a guy called Chimpact who does competitive Pokemon battle themed Jeopardies. The American game show, and I used to do those at a Pokemon Society when I was at uni. Every term or so I'd do a Jeopardy around Pokemon for everyone at the club, essentially, to take part in a quiz, which was good fun, and I'd be interested in trying that for One Piece. And obviously I'd find some friends, some other YouTubers, whatever, to jump on and, I don't know, see if we can make that a fun video. That could be pretty interesting. And having more time will give me plenty of time to plan something like that, which is exciting. I've also got a few trips planned up. Was hoping to go to Utrecht for Flame, but yeah, don't worry, never mind. Let's not worry about that one. That was a disaster. I guess we've gone a short tangent about that. I hope as many of you as possible got tickets. I did not. I was on there, second one. I went in because it went live at 8 a.m. UK time, and I start work at 8 a.m. UK time, so I was like, So I went into work half an hour early, got everything set up so that I could be sat at my computer at work for 8 o'clock without having to worry about, the work not being done. I did an extra half an hour's work so I could be there for 5 minutes to book a ticket, and I got the ticket in my basket, frame 1, got the add-on package, and then payment failed on 2 different cards and PayPal. And it's like, all those cards obviously have money on them. I'm not an idiot. I'm not that much of an idiot. But yeah, the website was dog shit, for lack of a better word. The website was complete dog shit. I think they didn't expect how many people would be signing up right at the same time, which I'm assuming there was around 2,500 to 3,000 tickets, because whilst I know it's a 4,000 player cap, a bunch of those are reserved for finals players. So I reckon there were between 2,500 and 3,000 tickets available, and for that many to go frame 1 is a little crazy. I don't think they expected it, and to be honest, I don't think I expected it to go that fast. I know with Utrecht specifically, they were available for a while. The website was just shitting the bed, but there's clearly that much demand because the American one actually sold out in like 1 or 2 minutes. That website didn't shit the bed. You just had to be like insanely fast, from what I understand. But yeah, that sold out very, very fast, and there were 5,000 tickets. There's clearly demand for these events, and I think going forwards they need to consider in-region priority, so that the European event, maybe people with European Bandai TCG Plus accounts can sign up for the first day, and then after that they open it to the rest of the world. Because I don't inherently have a problem with people from America, from Asia, wherever, coming and taking part in tournaments. It's cool meeting people from other places in the world. But when they're selling out in 1 minute, and people from that continent are missing out on the chance to play in their event, and you get other people that are playing in like 2, maybe 3 different events, that doesn't seem very fair to me. I'd personally like at least a little bit, like a day of priority for players from that continent to sign up to their events before they then open the tickets up to everyone else. Because it's cool meeting people from all over the world, but it's cooler when people can actually get into the tournament that they can attend. Not everyone can afford to fly to into continental flights to attend tournaments, and those of us that can, we're very lucky, right? We're very lucky to be able to do that, and there needs to be some kind of protection for those that just want to play in their local event, right? Anyway, no, I will not be going to Utrecht unless they open up more tickets or I qualify from Wolverhampton, which would be cool, I guess, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But I do have Wolverhampton in July. That's before I leave. But yeah, I've got a few other things planned for those couple of months. I'm going to go visit my parents. They live about 5 hours away, so that'll be cool. Got a friend from Australia. You might know him from the channel, Larry TCG. He's coming over to hang out for a few days in August, and we're going to record a couple of vids while he's here. He's going to come to my locals, and I'm going to show him around the city in the local area. Excuse me, which should be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that a lot. And then I should have a Pokemon regional to judge right at the end of September. And one more thing that I'm planning on doing is redoing my judge exam. I am and have been a judge for Pokemon for a while now. I think 8 years, at least 7. I think 8 years though. Time flies, and I've been judging at regionals since the end of COVID, so like 4 or 5 years, something like that. And I love doing them for Pokemon. And I did the One Piece judge exam before, and I looked into staffing regionals. But between the low value of the compensation boxes that you get for your time as a judge, not covering the cost of my flights and any accommodations that would be needed, and just the amount of time I had between doing YouTube, working full time, and doing the Pokemon events, I wasn't really going to have much time to judge One Piece regionals. And then they cancelled everyone's judge membership, and then said, "Oh, you have to redo the test again." No, I just kind of didn't. I never renewed it, so it lapsed. But I'm going to renew that now, and now I've got a ton more time. I'm hoping to judge some One Piece regionals as well, because that's a less stressful way of getting into events, as it's turned out. I've obviously got quite a lot of experience from Pokemon events. I'm hoping to bring that over. And there has been some talk about, you know, if you can't get into Nats, become a judge. And I'm not one to discourage people from being a judge. It's great. It's great fun. Being a judge is great fun. However, before you sort of go down this rabbit hole, you've got to be aware that you are there to work. And that's a thing that I've had gripes with other judges in Pokemon in the past. Yes, you will have fun. You will be able to chat with players, catch up with your friends for, 2 minutes here and there when there's the time. You'll have a good laugh with other judges, whether that's playing card games with them, just drinking a beer after your day at the venue, after you finish work for the day. It's super chill, it's really fun, but when you're at the venue working, you've got to be able to sort of prioritize the smooth running of the event over your enjoyment to a degree, in my opinion. Obviously, you've got to be having a good time. If you're not having a good time, then talk to your fellow judges and see if that's something that can be solved. but the priority for me always has to be the smooth running of the event, because there's 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 players there relying on you and the team to do a great job and make sure that event runs smoothly. And for me as a player and as a judge, that is the most important thing, is making sure that the players have a great time and want to come back for another event. Because then that means that I've done a good job and that makes me feel pleased. Anyway, yeah, gonna probably redo my judge exam. And then in October, I'm leaving right at the end of November actually, I'm going to do this. This is a 1,200 kilometer walking pilgrimage around the island of Shikoku in Japan, visiting 88 temples, sort of in the footsteps of a Buddhist monk named Kobodaishi from back in sort of the 800s. He went to China, studied Buddhism, came back to Japan, set up all these temples around the island of Shikoku. It's a fairly well-known pilgrimage in Japan and is getting more international recognition, and it looks really cool. I'm not a Buddhist. You don't have to be a Buddhist to go there. I would like to learn a little bit more about Buddhism. It sounds pretty cool. But primarily I'm just going because it sounds like a bit of an adventure. It's something that I've never done anything like before. It's not camping. You stay in little B&Bs, traditional Japanese ryokans and minshukus. But I've never been camping. I've never really been hiking beyond, like, you know, let's go out hiking for a couple hours. So I think I don't know. The risk is sounding pretentious. I just want to figure out what I want to do going forwards. And that sounds like a really fun way to do it. Walking like 1,200 kilometers. It's going to take about 2 months to do the walk. For those, if anyone knows about this, I'm going to visit the 20 Bakaku as well. Because, I don't know, some of those places look really, really cool to me. And then after that, I've got a couple of weeks at the end where I'm going to go back to Kumamoto, find the rest of the One Piece statues, and then just chill out in Japan for a couple of weeks before coming back. I get back in mid-December. So from October to December, there will be very, very limited videos on the channel. I'll probably try and schedule one a week to go up. Don't know how successful that will be, because planning 2.5 months in advance is hard. But you just don't know what the game's going to look like, right? Fortunately, so that we get a set at the end of August, and then we'll get a set at the end of November. So I am going to sort of miss the start of the OP18 format. But I sort of missed the start of the OP15 format as well, because we were in Japan for that one. So it is what it is. But yeah, looking forward to that. That's going to be interesting. And then when I come back in December and the new year, I don't know. I'll probably look at getting another job. For the time being, I will once again be doing YouTube full time. And you never know, maybe I can continue with that if I get the One Piece judging sorted out. If I pick back up on the Pokemon judging when I'm back. If I've got the YouTube. Maybe that will be enough to sort of not only pay my way, but like make me feel like I'm contributing. Because I don't know. I don't know where I want to go after that. We'll find out. We'll find out. Is there anything else? No, I think that's about it. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a lovely rest of your day. I'm really excited for the future. And you should be too. Never treat something that some people maybe see as bad happening as a setback. It can be hard to sort of, I don't know, deal with things like that. I was pretty upset when I didn't get a ticket for the Flame thing. I can't lie. But you've got to do the best that you can with the situations that you're given. And missing out on that is going to give me more time to make videos. It's going to give me more time to spend with friends. Maybe I'll go see family on that weekend. That could be nice. But yeah, we'll see. You never know what's going to happen in life. But yeah, you just got to do the best with what you've got. We're all very fortunate to be in the positions we are. There's always someone who has it worse. So, I don't know. I find it best to try and keep positive, and let's just crack on, because future's bright, you know. It's exciting times. Either way, that's it. I'm a head out.